Well. Hello. How you guys doing? Welcome, I guess, to the last day of Shadathon. It is today, Sunday, the 31st of August. Kind of mad that we're starting next month on a Monday. We started this month on a Monday. Weird. Yeah, it has literally been 4 weeks, which is fucking crazy. Throughout that time, I have had wonderful fun, and obviously you guys chipping in, even people watching on the VODs and stuff, it's been wonderful and amazing. And I just want to give a massive thanks to everybody who has tuned in throughout the past month, and obviously has tuned in all before that point, because I've been doing something called a Shadathon, which is essentially a stream every day of the August month. I chose August specifically this year, because 2025 feels special in some way or another, and on top of that, August is the year, about 4 years ago, that I started doing YouTube. It's where everything started with the Twitch, with the YouTube, with socials, all of that. So I thought it was really special. Speaking of which, I did release a Discord a couple of days ago, and it is linked over here. So if you want to go check out, join, basically announcements for live and socials and all of that, and events and Discord events. You can share animals and media and food and art and rant and yap around random shit, play games, all the usual stuff, basically, and more. Because, yeah, in the future, I hope to host Discord events. But aside from that, today we're going to be finishing off a bit of the cosplay, getting some stuff painted, and also something I've been wanting to do for a while, which I might do on a couple of Wildcard Sundays now, especially with like Battlefront and some other games and bits. When it comes to building in Minecraft, I used to a lot go ahead and essentially look up on Pinterest or the internet, just find Minecraft builds that already existed, or go on Instagram and basically just either take that, build it in a different gradient, or take inspo from that. I still see a lot of that, but what I've actually gotten to doing over the past 4 years, I guess since I started doing the channel, is either building straight out of my mind, off of photographic memory, or building off of drawing. And a lot of that comes from either ArtStation sort of bits that I've found that are sort of somewhat simple or highly detailed. It doesn't really matter how much detail is put into it or what style it's in. I've also been drawing my own stuff and building off of that. And as many of you know, I'm playing on an SMP right now called the Guild SMP. Essentially got miners, gatherers, hunters, scholars. We're all different sort of factions that have rules and regulations within each of them that allow us to do different and certain stuff. I've actually had someone from chat come join the SMP, which is fucking awesome. And at the moment, I have gone to a place where I've moved to build a mega base, which I've linked up to the sort of islands themselves. And I'm actually making an episode for it as well, which I'm going to release on YouTube. So I'm going to still stream the Guild SMP, but I'm also planning to go ahead and start making episodes for it on YouTube, because I thought it would be really fun. And obviously, we've finally got an SMP which everybody's actually stuck on. We've got over 20 people on this time. The SMP I played on before was called the Chaos Craft. People have basically just left that. It's not really been deserted. There is one person who still hops on every now and then. I hop on every now and then just to check my farms and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of been left alone. Guild is kind of the new space where everybody's hopping on every now and then. And the best part is, even if you're not on, other people are. And so your farms still run and everything. And there's usually about 1 or 2 people on every time you go on. It's rare that you're only ever the one person on there. And on top of that, it's usually like Thursdays and Fridays, there's about 10, 15 people on, which is wicked. So, yeah, awesome. And the other part is, they're not all English. There's people from America, Australia, the Netherlands. I think there's people from Germany on there as well. But yeah, wicked. It's amazing. But for that SMP, I thought today we could just go ahead and draw some stuff, whip some stuff up, because I have some ideas. See, because I'm in the scholar trade, I want to essentially be the jack of all trades. I want to design a different sort of building within a district for every single villager. So I have an ultimate training hall on the Shadowcroft world, which is basically just villagers stacked like that, with them going round and up in a sort of like spiral action, with each layer being a different class of villager at their highest trade with the lowest prices. So it would be like efficiency 5 for, I don't know, like 30 emeralds, something like that. Or I'm breaking 3 for like 20, or mending for like 14 emeralds in a book. But when it comes to the SMP, because I have recently come back in with Minecraft, and that spark has like embered or like relit itself. There are so many ideas flying in about like the different builds and the detailed stuff and the stuff I could do, basically, just to build or to add to the world that people can interact with. I essentially wanted to build a district that has multiple different buildings that correlate to the villager trades within sort of a mystical mixed with technology stance. So, for example, cartographers would maybe have like an airship because they're explorers, mappers, cartographers. They are onlookers into the distant future. Leatherworkers are kind of these, like, I guess they skin animals and they make stuff, but they could like live on washing lines that are controlled by mechanics that have like magical drying potions that are dripping off the line. Fishermen could have, I don't know, like a giant flying boat, or because the thing is, our base is up in the sky, we're on floating islands, so I'm kind of incorporating a bit of Avatar in here. They could have a giant flying boat that like sails on clouds, or maybe there's, I don't know, like a magic water pool that floats up in the air, but I could use blue glass on the bottom so it looks literally like there's floating water, or a rain cloud with a pool in the top, and then you've got these fishermen with like sort of little boats and docks around them. The stonemasons could be in floating stone pillars. Each kind of thing is like a different height, and you've got, because the thing is with rendering in Minecraft, if you go too far away, there's certain things you can't see, such as glass and struggle boxes and glass panes, and they're especially hard to see already. So what I'm going to do is put glass panes and blocks in between these stone pillars so that when you jump across from down below, it looks like you're walking on air, except you're not. So, yeah. But yeah, we're just going to get straight into designing shit here because it's going to be fucking awesome. Oh, I forgot about this. So we're going to be using brown paper for this because I love drawing it, mainly because, if I just show you real quick, if you try to use white on white, obviously it doesn't show up, but you can see it slightly. On brown paper, white shows up exceptionally well, especially when you're doing highlights and shadows, and black also exceptionally well. And the best part about this brown paper is that we can mix a bunch of stuff. I've even got Ohuhu markers, which I'm going to be colouring with and doing a bit of shading. Obviously, they do show a bit darker on here, so I've got to be careful with that. But yeah, this is going to be... I forgot about that. This is going to be fucking awesome. We've got plenty of space here, as you can see. I've got a ton of brown paper. This is space for my A-level sketchbook that I used at A-level in school about, 2 years ago? But I don't think I've actually ever shown you guys. I'm not going to do a sketchbook tour because this is not what was here for. But I've also got cosplay over off to my right side, which I'm going to be finishing off in a minute as well. Yeah, I don't think I've actually ever shown you guys. So I've mentioned before that I do game studies and animation at uni. In our first year, we had to create sort of creatures for a game, and I'm much more on the artistic side rather than programming. But this is some of the things that I essentially made, and this is what I got up into uni, got up to in uni in that first couple of months. Just some perspective drawings there. And I've mentioned multiple times on stream before, I've got artist sort of blood in me. I don't think I've ever actually shown my art on stream though, which is where this is going to come in. And that's the thing, like I said, every Sunday I'd like to do some art or some drawing just to, I guess, express myself. It could be stuff from Minecraft, it could be stuff from games, it could be random just stuff. It could be just me sitting down and drawing for the sake of it. And I try to draw every day so I don't lose practice for it, because I do have like a odd style. This is more just like base stuff as well, I should just mention. This is like non-detailed stuff. And these are all like game bosses and things like that. You've got things like this and that, and this weird little guy over here, which is kind of like the thing from Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, like the tentacle monster that eats that person. You've got like an evolved version of that, what it looks like from the back. Because the problem with games animation is you have to make a full 360 sort of version of stuff so you can model it in 3D. And that's what I did. I took these pictures, laid them on like a that in 3D, and then built out of it using modeling stuff. I think they're still on the monitor somewhere, but on the PC somewhere at uni. But yeah. Apart from that, we're going to chuck some music on, and we're going to get started on some designs. Now, I'm probably going to take up about half, maybe a whole page for each. But the thing that I've learned by doing art at uni is that it's not just one drawing. Sometimes you can just get one drawing and it is amazing. But even after that, it's always good to just try and experiment with different ways and styles and bits like that. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be experimenting with different ways, different styles, different sort of outlooks of the whole drawings and everything together. Let's get some music on now, and yeah, we're going to get into this. I'm going to properly lock in. The weird thing is, I have this weird kind of like concentration phase whenever I get into art. It just like sucks me in. And the weird thing is, the outcomes of stuff is always slightly different. Because sometimes it can be wildly different, sometimes it's not so different. It's a weird parallel. No, that's not what I want. This will do. Yeah, there we go. I've actually taken some pictures recently with my phone and a camera of basically things that look like airships and stuff like that. So I have got reference images, but they're not exactly the thing that we're drawing, and that's the thing. I like taking sort of regular stuff and turning it into other shit. So, like, a water bottle I could turn into a spaceship, or, I don't know, like, a book I could turn into like a monster with, like, a mouth, or, I don't know, like a friggin'... I like personifying objects basically, and also just turning them into like ships and stuff. I've gotten like really good at drawing tech and stuff now because of that. But yeah, we're gonna get on and do this. Let's try and find. So, obviously I said that... Obviously I said that, I can't remember what I said now. Airship, scholars, perspective? No. Oh yeah, obviously, I said that I'm mixing technology and sort of this airship stuff, and mystic and fantasy. There has to be a balance between it, because the whole thing with the scholars is that we're going for a mystical theme, and I don't want my builds to be entirely different. So we're actually going to try and work in sort of like a steampunk mixed with magic. If you've ever watched, fucking Netflix show, what's it called? The one with Princess Bean. Disenchanted. The mix between, like, that cyborgy town with magic. It's like that style of stuff thrown in with, like, mystical art and stuff. And the mystical stuff is mainly going to be built with glass. So we're going to do a lot, like, smoke effects and things like that. If you've ever watched Shrek and they went to, like, the potion factory where the fairy godmother makes all her potions, imagine that concept, but pushed into an airship. And like some other stuff. Yeah, it's going to be hella fun. And without any further ado, we're just going to jump right in. Right, I'm going to use my black pen here. And the best part is, I've, like I said, if anyone saw the little notification to come over to the stream, I've gotten to a point now where I can basically draw without having to use pencil. Like, I will literally just go in with pen, and it's insane. So, yeah, we're just going to get on with this right now. And obviously, if you've got any questions, ask me anything. Fucking... Yeah, this is the final day of Shadowthon, you might as well. It's probably one of the only Sundays this year I've been able to stream, or like will be able to stream after this point as well. Like I said, I don't want to take out the whole page. We're going to play around with perspective a bit. Obviously, I don't know what the rest of the islands look like yet because I've been up there, but yeah, we're going to play around with bits and bobs. We might also draw my mega base, which I've actually got a little design for here before we get into it. I know I'm really dragging this out. This is the mega base I'm planning to design on the S&B. So we've got like a sort of broken down diamond here, but this is going to be 3D. We've got a griffin and a dragon skull, a sort of cube in the middle, some pagoda style stuff with some Aztec sort of builds around the side and a dragon loop around top, which I did originally have to plan to have a portal in the middle. We're actually going to have the portal way off on like a hill over here, so that when you step out the portal, you can see the sort of monument straight away. This thing over here is going to be my potion slabs, basically a giant bewilderbeast skull from HDDYD built into like a snowy mountain. Within it there's going to be all the farms you need to have for like potion ingredients. We're going to have water on standby because there is loads of ice around, obviously. I was planning to build it in the ocean originally, but there isn't an ocean near enough to us that it stops diving into other people's territory. But without any further ado, yeah, like I said, we're going to get into this. And what we're going to do is basically, with this one, just start off with the ball. Now, I'm shit at drawing ships, so this is going to probably go horribly. But also why I'm going to like this so much, because it's going to very much adhere to my design of stuff, rather than like a traditional airship. So I want to play around with the shape of the actual balloon itself. Like, I wanted to maybe like a couple of circle ones, but I also want to play around with the sort of traditional blimp shape, which is more of like an ovular thing.
Ready to upgrade your music? Spotify Premium lets you listen to your favorite songs, albums, and artists non-stop, online,
like that.
offline.
And then you've got also, you could have like a hot air balloon, like 2 hot air balloons attached to a ship. So maybe like, it really depends on what. Well, the thing is, none of this is going to be easy to build in the game. That's the point of it. I just want it to be as like, sort of like Disney-ical as it can be. I've seen a lot of, if you've ever watched Mortal Engines, there's a lot of airships with like fans and fins coming out the side as well. Could do like a floating pirate ship, I guess, as well. So we could have like Destiny's Bounty from Lego Ninjago, a series I've been watching recently, which is more kind of like we're going like this, where you have the sort of crow's nest up here like that. And again, these don't have to be super detailed, but I'll try my best to kind of give them some sort of pizzazz. And then you've got that, and then you've got these bigger one further up the front like that. And obviously you've got the other side as well. And then maybe you can have like a, this isn't accurate to Destiny's Bounty, I'm just kind of adding stuff on. You have a pillar that comes out the front here, which is kind of like, comes up a bit, and then that goes out and up a bit, and then this maybe comes down and back in, but then you've got like a billowing sort of thing that's been stretched out the front here. And then that's sort of like dragging the ship forwards. And then out the side you've maybe got some more fanny bits. Like that, and already we've got something coming together. There we go. We've already got like a little ship design just there. Wicked. But yeah, basically we're just going to play around with stuff, choose a favourite one at the end, and then get on with that. Yeah, wicked. With this one, this more circle one, I want kind of like maybe a thing at the top here, and then we've got maybe like... Maybe there's a thing that's like around, so maybe see. So I'm trying to figure out this in like a physical sort of way as well, like how would it work in real life? Well, not real life, but the somewhat physics behind it. There'd have to be some sort of things to hold this in place. Like I get the strings and everything as well, but still. Maybe like that, and then what we do is have like sort of like a hot air balloon type of thing where you've got the strings sort of holding this thing up. And then with that, you could have like sort of stern post coming up here like that. And then you have your sort of actual ship bit here. That goes up a bit. And all you do is just add a bit of like a maybe pagoda sort of roof on the back. I'm liking this very much. You even have like a watch out tower on the back here, add some supports. There we go, maybe something like that. And then maybe this thing actually has like a second coming down here. And a second one like that. This would look a bit cooler. And that comes back to here. And then that sort of just like divulges into the ship. Then maybe this room here comes down. And then it's actually on supports which are attached to the rest of the ship, because there's another room just down here, and the roof actually goes in the opposite direction, connecting to the bottom like that. And then this comes back across, and maybe that goes down a bit like a boat does, and then this is going to come down here as well. And then we connect those up like that. Maybe a couple more strings to tie it all together. And then if we separate stuff off now, we can actually have a bit of a thing like this. And maybe there is like ropes and shit so like hanging from the ship and stuff, where it's so like old and tattered. And then you've got maybe there's like a perch for birds somewhere, just out here like this. Maybe birds sit on the top, and then you've got like a flag up the top here as well. And then, I don't know, like we could have another one of these at the front here, or we could have, what are they called? These things. A bit like the Destiny's Bounty. Which could technically be tied down to here so they don't fly away. That pulls the ship forwards. And then maybe these are like attached to here as well. And then, I don't know, you could have windows, I guess, in the back of here. Like that. This is the roof here. You've got like a door there. And down here you've got like another little room. And this is actually going to be like a full trading hall just for cartographers as well. Like the build will be massive, but there won't be anything inside it except storage and cartography sort of stuff. I want to do interiors, but they might have to wait until we build all the stuff first so I can actually gather like thoughts for it. Because I'm going to draw the interiors as well. I already have like an idea for like a bartering farm. We'll draw that real quick. Basically, it's big old cube, right? and then you've got like a circle deal here. There's a really easy way to unlock it down here, which unlocks this like massive vault door, which is going to open outwards or like slide downwards. Oh, you can't see that, which is going to slide downwards. And then inside what you're going to have is basically I put this, staircase down with 1 point that. All we're going to do is just and then you're going to have your piglin trays going all the way down the side here like this. And you have your storage in the floor. You're going to have copper golems acting on your behalf on these bits. And then this is all going to be like chandeliers and stuff going down the middle. And then some sort of... Basically, all the inside's going to be yellow, and there's going to be a massive door on the outside, but it's like a cracked build. I'm going to fully build like the front of a bastion, but crack it with sort of like gold leaking out the face of it, like a giant piece of gilded blackstone. And then inside it's just going to be a massively long tunnel full of piglins, of copper golems with their chests, and the whole thing is just going to be full yellow. So like yellow terracotta, yellow concrete, yellow clay, yellow... yellow wool, yellow glazed terracotta, gold, anything yellow, bamboo blocks, everything, all the way down is just going to be pure yellow. It's going to look wicked. I'm really liking this design here, but obviously we've got some more that we want to get onto in a minute or two. So I'm going to add some like windows down here too. Just to add a bit of like sense there is actually lower quarters here, maybe where the crew and the kitchen staff work. Again, obviously it's law. I can actually make interiors and put armor stands in, or like put butchers and stuff in here as well, but yeah, this is more just law. That's the thing, I'm trying to, with all of these builds as well, with everything I build on the Guild SMP and everything I build on any Minecraft world, a lot of it is actually just lore and story and narrative and kind of world building and all of that. But yeah, I think that looks really cool. And then what we can even do is put like an anchor. Just there like that. I think that's wicked. Okay, and then actually on the ball itself, I might just put some sort of like lines here for a bit of 3D effect. And maybe these are like restraints keeping it in place, or maybe they're structural supports so the ball doesn't like blow up or anything. What we're going to do is come down, go back up a bit, and then this is basically just going to come down into some sort of furnace or machine, and this is where the techie bits come in. Because then what we're going to do is actually have pipes running up and round the balloon, which are going to kind of sort of just rest on top. Like that, and then all we're going to do is just, some of them will just basically run into the balloon itself. Others will kind of sit there. But that way you've got some sort of like techie element there as well. And then with the actual tech itself, I'm thinking we could maybe have like mechanical interiors and everything as well. Because obviously this ship has got to fly actually somehow as well. It's powered off magic, obviously. And that's why we're also going to have maybe a bit of, I don't know, like magic dust coming out the back or something like that. I don't know, maybe. And maybe it's got like bits underneath it that it's using to float or something. There you go. And then you could have like telescopes aboard, like mounted. This could be an actual like exploration deck that you can step out onto. Like that, so you can see ahead of like where you're going. Up here we can have a little viewport where you can actually see out the top and everything. And then in here in the actual chamber and down below is where we're going to have all our cartographers. So there we go, little airship. Wicked. I actually really like the design. I want to kind of try with this design down here as well, this sort of shape. I think we're going to... And the thing is, I want to get my cartographers and my librarians in first. But the problem is, I get that I want to do like a historical. I have an image in my mind, which is I'm probably better off building from that rather than drawing it, 'cause it's going to not as well as I think. When it comes to librarians, I have an idea for the inside, which I'm going to stick with, but the idea for the outside, I'm not so sure. And I've contemplated whether to do a giant floating book, or maybe, I don't know, like a staff that reaches up from the ground, like a tree or something like that, like a tree of knowledge. I don't know. I have fiddled with concepts, but I'm not quite clear on one. So I'm gonna look through my kind of resources that I've gathered and just try and find something that works with sort of like a library setting. Like this one, give like a little fan wheel, somewhat like attached to the back. A fan that's like spinning round and round, and then this is like pushing it forwards. Then maybe like on the maybe so if you've got a couple lines that go across the back, exercising its kind of 3D effect. And then maybe on this one, like on the others, you've got, so you'd have your like ship down here like this. But then maybe you've got your kind of fan things, a bit like the Destiny's Bounty, except they're on the bottom instead of the top. And then that's where this comes in as well. Instead of having it there, you could actually have the sort of rudder be coming off the back here like that. Then you can have your like city bit up in here. You can have your fans, like I said, coming off.
Did you know Nestlé's been making the nation's favourite coffee, Nescafe, in Derbyshire since the 1950s? And your delicious Kit Kat was invented by Rowntrees in York in 1935, and millions are still made every day on the same site.
I honestly think this is my favourite right now. So yeah, this one, top of the list right now. I'm really liking the ball shape compared to, because I was originally thinking of going with this shape. I think I actually really like the ball shape and how this turned out. So this one I think we're definitely going to go for. Yeah. And I do like how it does incorporate some of the sort of these sort of fan designs here over on this bit here. And then you've actually got even some of the sort of techie bits and sort of Japanese pagoda bits over here. And then you even got the ball shape itself. You've got the techie bits also in here. A bit of the flag and the conquering sort of aspect here. A bit of texture, a viewing platform just over here as well. I think in terms of cartographers, this works really well. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, we're good. Cool. Right, what we're going to do next is the library. I just need to think of how I'm going to do this. So I don't know, I could do a tree. I like building sort of biological things in the game, like dragons and all of that, and creatures. I like making my own little creatures out of just random things. I know some of the blocks have faces on them, but using like the peculiar stuff to make faces as well is kind of fun. And actually using the smaller details to actually add things that they look like in real life is really, really fun as well. So like using tripwire hooks for taps and things like that, or buttons for stones, or kind of texture on a wall or something. Really, really fun. Right, we need to flip the page over that way. So yeah, what we're going to do now is the librarians, and I'm just going to consult with my references real quick to see what we can whip up for this. Like I said, I have an interior design really clear and set in my mind. The thing with it is that it's going to be like it's a library I visited in Amsterdam, and also a couple others I visited when I've been travelling in the past, and it's kind of a mix of all them together, except you're going to have like historical artifacts in like a one-point perspective up the top here, all leading to the villagers, which are going to be in sort of like arcs around the bottom here, and you're going to have your central main guy, which is probably going to be the most important and powerful trade in the game. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but down on the floor it's going to be all sort of mysticky. You may even have like the fog effect in the floor and the ceiling. The ceiling can actually be like an upside down reflection of the whole room itself. The railing and everything is going to be all like woody and stuff like that. It's going to be rustic. It's going to have gold kind of thrown in there. There's going to be armor trims in its top bit. It's going to be end crystals, dragon potions, heads, and all of that. It's going to look wicked. But the outside, I haven't really got like a grasp for it yet. Honestly, if you guys have got any ideas as well, I would love to hear them. Trying to think, because it would librarians, potions, kind of speaks to me of wizardy type stuff, so I don't know, like, be a wizard staff, or a hat, or it could be, I could build one Shi Tong from Ambatar, he who knows 10,000 things. I could build one Shi Tong, holding like an open thing. Or like a giant brain. Or, out of a thought, there was a building style I wanted to enact on the... I've just had a great idea. There's a building style I wanted to enact on the Chaoscraft SMP. And I never really got the chance because we never really got too far with it. Because we have a bit of pre-built stuff in creative before this SMP started that we're playing on now. I have a really good idea. This style essentially is compacting a bunch of buildings that really don't go together, but they work together anyway. So it's kind of how an oil rig looks, like all of these sort of bits stacked together in like a really weird little way, but it works anyway. I want to incorporate Aztec and Mayan vibes into that. And so the whole, I guess, idea of it is that it's floating because all maybe this collective knowledge is allowing it to float. Like this collective sentience is allowing this island to float. It's a sentient island with villagers living inside of it. So, I guess the starting bit here would be to, I don't know, make an island, or I think we just need to start and then get on with it. Yeah. I'll add all the whites afterwards as well. So I could have... Let's just experiment here, shall we? So we could have like a Mayan sort of themed temple. Like that. Right. Comes down to about there. And it stops here. And then you've got like an open gate bit. Which has a bit of that sort of Japanese style to it. With the kind of pillars going through, creating like a second roof. And then, yeah, so this is all steps, right? And it's all Mayan sort of stuff like that. And you've got like the... that, and then you've got the gate here, which opens into the library itself. Right. And then when it gets down to this point here, there is still steps up to it. But it's all sort of like floating rocks that lead over to the island. So it is a bit parkour-y, I guess. Right, and then that stops there. Maybe there's a bit of water that trickles down. And then when it gets to this point here, I think what I want to do is... maybe add like... I don't know, animals on the edge here like this. This looks shit. This is why I didn't want to do it. This problem is I can't fathom what this should look like in terms of drawing, and it's really pissing me off. Or, alternatively, I guess I could... I might just do a tree. A tree of knowledge, right? And then instead of... oh my god, I've just had... yeah. I'm going to change up the design of the inside of this thing, but I've just had a wonderful idea. Right, the perspective of this is going to be quite weird. It's going to have to be, like... if I just visualize this real quick. We have...
anywhere. Got a show of your own? Upload your video to Spotify. Turn views into fans and monetize your passion.
like that. Essentially, you'd have like a spiral, and the whole idea is you'd have like a spiral going up like that, a bit like a spring, and then this would be like the inside of a tree trunk, but you still have all of your kind of I just kind of like you still have all of your kind of like contributions to like old stuff, so you still have like a sword and a stone and bits like that down the bottom here, and you'd have them sort of lined up around the top sort of region and stuff, and sort of lined inside them. But then all of this bit here could be sort of bookshelves and bits like that, and then within each layer you also have your villages, sort of like within these bits here. And then I want to kind of somewhat categorize them, but imagine, we'll draw the outside real quick, but imagine like a tree, like, I don't know. Remember the best way to draw a tree is actually start with this bit. And then you basically just build your roots out like that. Right, and then what you do is you'd have that spiral essentially be within the tree here. Right? And you can still look into the outside. So this is basically the inside of a tree trunk, this sort of bit here. Obviously the tree wouldn't be this massive, it's more just like a scale thing to get a bit of representation. But yeah, so we'd still have that library sort of essence, that same sort of style in the Charisma. We'd have all these kind of like historical influence built up through like the different levels. You'd have different villagers going up. Basically, I have a visual in my mind, which is like this perspective here, where it's like bit at the bottom, it sort of circles and goes up. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like a cylinder, but if you looked at it from a really weird angle, I'll try to draw this better. So if we go like that, but then you took that and went like this and then bent it inwards towards the top. This is like a smaller bit up here than it is down here, so you'd have big stuff up here and then little tiny stuff up here. Essentially like this, like a tower spiraling downwards inside a tree with that sort of knowledge. And the actual tree's colour, we're going to tie to what books are like. So books are sort of brown, and I'll actually even do this now, I've got the colours for it. Books are generally sort of a terracotta brown colour. We've also got white, obviously, as well, for the pages. You can see inside. And then on top of them, you've got a sort of purpley pink glowing thing, which is the representative for the actual enchanted aspect of it. And also, on top of that, the red, which is what binds the book as well. And so, what we could do is we could somewhat build a blossom tree and have the... we could have the brown be obviously the stalk and everything, or the trunk and everything, and then the red and the white could start to work its way in to the brown, sort of dipping out on the end of the branches, and then the red could be the base of the leaves, while the top of it, the most of it, which is going to be built out of glass and everything, is going to be like purpley and stuff. So yeah, and actually I'll even add the colours now. So I'm going to use brown for the actual tree itself. Like so. And then in comes the white bits, which are going to basically sort of spark out at the end of here. And actually come a little bit through as well. There we go. And then the red, like I said, is going to be basically the underside of the leaves. Just kind of put it in there like that. The undercolour that kind of outlines the rest of the tree, gives it a bit of variation, because we are actually going to try and make, I know the game obviously has its sort of own lighting and shadows, but within that I also want to try and make some sort of like darker tones, almost like we're painting. Dark and lighter tones, so you have red on base, and then the actual tree itself is going to be this sort of purple colour on top. It looks a lot worse in drawing form than it does when it comes to building, but when this thing does get built, it's going to look fucking epic.
Match day with mates. Yes. There's a bus for that.
There we go, wicked.
There's more to Spotify than meets the ear.
Okay, well that's that done. And then what we can even do is actually maybe have just like a dragon sort of circling the tree or something. So, I don't know, like, maybe there's a dragon that is coiling its way up the tree, or like sleeping at the base or something. I just like building dragons, to be honest.
Upload your video to Spotify.
It's the main reason behind this.
And monetize your passion.
Maybe there's a dragon at the base protecting the tree or something. Or maybe the dragon is the way you get into the thing. I don't know. But yeah. Librarians. Just realised those colours look like the lesbian flag. I've never really noticed that before. I guess I've never put them in that kind of structure before. Yeah, that's wicked. Ha! Cool. Right, so this librarian's done. And I've actually got all the trade guys written down here somewhere. I'm going to do all 12. Is it 12? Or is it more? It's definitely more than 12, right? I've got the trades written down somewhere. Where are the tradesmiths? Oh, here we go. Cool. No, that's not them. Where did I write down all the... No, there's an image on Reddit that someone made a while ago, which is still really useful to this day. I'm just going to get up real quick, so we can get the full kind of experience of this. Give me a second here. This is looking sick, by the way. I'm loving how this turned out. Yeah, so someone made this image of basically all of the villager traits. It's up to date now as well on Reddit, quite a couple of years ago, which is really, really handy, especially when you're trying to build the ultimate villager district or trading hall. Yes, actually, too, we can do stonemason next, because I know what I'm going to do for them already. Turn a page, yeah. So, stonemasons, what I want to do is go ahead and build a bit of like a... it's said like a pillar structure. So you'd kind of get to this. Basically, each pillar would be different, but you'd have pillars basically lined up like this, and then within each of them you'd have a villager chamber with like cracks leaking out from where it is, and then you'd have like bits of rubble kind of just breaking off down the bottom here like that. That kind of looks a bit more like a candle, but you get the idea. Just bits of rocks sort of like floating around near it, maybe a bit of like a swirl down the bottom here as well. And then basically what you do is you have like little cloud blocks that you can jump across to get to each bit. So then you have like another pillar over here, maybe it's a bit shorter, maybe it's a little broken. Then you've got like another villager trade within there, maybe it's cracked a bit more. It's been used down, a bit worn down a bit. And all of these are going to be made of stone obviously as well. So that there is a bit of like consistency between them. Kind of a bit like the cloud. I'm getting a lot of this from Ninjago. Kind of like the Cloud City from Ninjago, where it's all just like floating bits. Except these are like slightly more ruined stuff. Like this one could even have like a massive crack in it there, and then you could like have that like partially filled in. The villager on this one might be higher up in the thing. Like that, and then you've got like the underside here. The top bit. So then this is essentially your stonemason bit just here. Basically a bunch of clouds, a bunch of different pillars. I've got about 4 or 5 of them just hovering there. what you'd do is you'd have like a hook here, almost like dug into the ground, and you can have a little one over here. And then basically what we'd do is we'd hang a line across to here. This obviously be a bit bigger. This could be on chains or like a rope or something that we foraged or forged.
Keep your music flowing. Download your
And
favorite
essentially
tracks
what we do
and listen to them
is we'd
ad-free
have
with
the
Spotify Premium.
cartographer, the leather workers, like they're hanging out the
And
washing.
cancel anytime.
So we'd have
Banner to learn more.
like little chambers inside of like clothing bits that hung off the top here.
There's more to Spotify
And the
than
villagers would
meets
be basically
That's
inside of
because
there.
video is taking
Or we could
center
have
stage on
them
Spotify,
sort of like,
with over 300,000 video shows and 300 million
maybe
users
there's like a
already watching their
chamber
favorite
underneath
podcasts.
on one of the islands. So if we
With
drill like
seamless
another
switching
line
between
here.
watching and
Say it's
listening,
this island over
you
here.
can tune in anytime,
We've got the sort
anywhere.
of grass on top, all of
Got a
that,
show of
right?
your own? Upload your video to Spotify.
What you
Turn
do is
views
actually
into
have like a little
fans
villager
and monetize your passion.
inside sort of like a box here underground, and maybe there's like a little underground passage just here where you have to walk under to actually go and meet this guy. And then that's actually how you get across. Maybe from there what happens is there's again like little sort of steps you can walk across to get to all of those, or maybe you have to walk across the line to hop in and get down to the leather workers. Obviously they need a water source as well, and so where does that come in? Well, I think with the water source what we can do is actually even just put little bits of water inside these bits here. Like that. And they'll basically just be, I guess, passing. We could even have like a little movement with pistons pushing all of this back and forth, like a gondola. That'd be sick. So that's what leather work is done. That looks wicked. Now the armourer, toolsmith and weaponsmith, I'm actually planning to put all in one big kind of thing, because they have very similar trades that all kind of revolve around the same thing. And I'm essentially going to make a floating sort of blacksmiths or like a giant blast furnace being carried by like a dragon or something. I'm going to find any excuse to build a dragon. It's just going to happen one way or another. Or and there's like a giant bird or something like that. Or maybe there's a phoenix carrying... We could have like a phoenix dragon carrying a... I don't know. Find some references. Maybe carrying like a mix between a furnace and an anvil. So we could have like a, if I draw this like furnace or anvil first. So we have like a, I just need to think about this properly. So we could have a, how is it going to be carrying it though? Is it going to be strapped to it, or is it going to be literally... Or maybe it's like a mechanical bird that's being powered by steampunk and has feathers on the outside. So maybe And you have to go in the bird's mouth and out the bird's bum to get out. So I think about this real quick. Not the best thing I've ever drawn, I must admit. Yeah, let's turn around a bit. So a mix between, I guess, machine stuff. So we have like the, I guess, blast furnace sort of like emblem on its chest, which is these sort of 3 lines.
There's more to Spotify than meets the
And then
ear.
what we'll do is kind of,
That's because video is taking center stage on Spotify. With over 300,000 video shows and 300 million users already watching their favorite podcast. With seamless switching between watching and listening, you can tune in
a giant
anytime,
metal bird
anywhere.
Like
Got
the
a show of
face
your
will
own?
be
Upload
kind of
your
like an
video to
anvil,
Spotify.
I guess, in
Turn
a way.
views into fans and monetize your passion.
And then I guess we could have like some feathery stone mace, like the grindstone. It is basically just an excuse to build a giant bird, because I've been wanting to do it for fucking ages now. Never got the chance. But yeah, basically giant bird, kind of furnace. I might even set parts of it on fire as well. And make it like glow in the dark. All gonna be very different things, I must admit, but love it. Oh, armor. I guess it could also be like an almond bird. With like metal talons or stuff like that. I'm making details, so don't forget when I'm building. Okay, perfect. So that is the Allsmiths done. Right, so now we've just got, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, only more 6 islands to go. Or 6 structures, I guess. So I'm guessing. So I'm going to write this in this. We've done. So we've got farmers, fishermen, fletchers, shepherds, and and butchers. Now butchers, it does slightly fall under hunters because obviously we need to trade meat for emeralds or emeralds for meat. And because it's going to be coming from the hunters, I don't know if I should do like an ode to them or other bits. I'm not entirely sure. So, I guess what would be like do we build like a sky battlement, or do we do like a? I don't know really. What would you do for like a sky build that is also like a war ground or like a hunter's thing? I mean, I guess you could do like an Ares type thing, or trying to think about this. I mean, they could definitely be tied to the leather workers because obviously you get leather from cows and horses and all that. So maybe we'd have the washing of the lines between this sort of huntery sort of butcher place as well as the fishermen who also somewhat dive into that kind of meaty bit. So fishermen and there we go. So we're gonna have the two designs over here. Just trying to think real quick. What would work for fishermen? And what would work for... I mentioned with fishermen that we could do like a boat that's like flying through the air, but we've already got that coming with the airship and I don't want to be too repetitive with stuff. We could do like a pool of water which is floating and have clouds around it. We could... I don't know. I mean, we could do like a flying fish, but make it look like it's swimming through the sky. I don't know. Again, we could do the flying boat, but again, it's kind of repetition of the airship is the only thing. I'm just trying to think. I mean, we could... Could also do like a giant, I guess, shark in the sky, something like that. I'm not sure. If anyone's got any ideas for fishermen, like a giant floating fisherman build where we could put fisherman traders. If you've got any ideas, let me know. This might be a rare occasion where I have to look something up. I'm going to pop onto Pinterest, and I'm not going to look at Minecraft builds, but I am going to look at inspo for kind of floating island bits. Just like real life and sort of... No AI stuff, though. And I know how to look for AI, because AI, if you look, some of the patterns don't match up, the lines don't match up, and what you'll see is actually certain textures and patterns that repeat themselves over and over constantly, in a certain way. AI also has like a certain look as well compared to art, and... it has gotten harder to spot, I must admit, because it's becoming more advanced, but I know how to spot AI on Pinterest, and I know like what is where, essentially. That lava frog looks fucking magnificent. Oh, it's annoying, you can't use that. Like this is this thing here this is AI. That's an AI image. It just has a certain thing about it that is, yeah. And also this is AI as well, unfortunately. Oh, like that. Sounds cool. That, however, has been drawn by hand. There's just like a... it's like a certain... there's a thing about AI, because basically all AI does when it comes to art is it takes thousands or hundreds, or it really depends on how detailed what you ask it for. It takes just loads and loads of different images and smash cuts them together within seconds, rather than creating original pieces. And that's the thing. So you can kind of tell what's what. We're doing fishermen and butchers, fishermen and butchers, fishermen and butchers. I mean, I guess we could just do a floating house with like the stilts just dissipating into nothingness. Yeah, floating house with the things dissipating into nothingness. I kind of like that idea. Or, alternatively, could do a tower, which is... No, I'm going to save the tower for something else. So, fisherman, I have just had... Yeah, I have this... What if we did... So we do like a fisherman hut, sort of like that. And then kind of like bring this out a bit like that. And then you've got like a sort of bit that goes around the edge like that, right? And then you've got like stairs here, which go down to the dock, which kind of extends out this way. But then these supports here, instead of going into water, it can be a sky station for ghasts. And then we go inside via a piston door. And the fishermen live inside there, in their like little fishing hut, all running around and stuff, but they're trapped because of the piston door, which is going to be a piston door that doesn't let basically these guys out, but only lets us players in. And yeah, like I said, these, I guess, fishing pillars are gonna, or pillars going down to here, they're basically just gonna trail off into nothingness. And same that the house itself is gonna be on stilts that kind of support each other, but just fade into nothing. Okay, cool. Wicked. Wicked. I'm loving how that's looking. Huh. Okay, so now we just need to do a butchers. A butchers? A butchers. Can probably fit our shepherds in. I had an idea for shepherds just now. I'm going to do a tower with the same sort of logic as this, except it's going to have a ball in the middle of it, which is kind of separating two parts. So we go like that, right? What we're going to do is essentially just have almost like a clock tower, except it's going to have a ball there, which is going to kind of make this weird sort of thing. What's going to happen is we're going to have bits there, like that. And this is going to come up here. These bits are going to go out. It's going to come up into like a top steeple thing. And then this is basically just going to come down here like this. Oh, someone's calling me. Give me a second. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Where are you? At home?
Yeah.
Can you look in the fridge for me at how long that chicken takes to cook,
Okay.
please? It's a cook in the bag one. Just see how long it takes to actually cook
Okay.
for me now while I'm on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, give me a second. It's talking to you guys. Okay.
It is a cook in the bag one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll ring you back when you need to put it in, yeah?
Yep.
All right, don't ignore me, will you?
I won't.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Sorry about the chat. Got a old Gramps overstay, and well, we have Gramps over. We have roast chicken, which is one of my least favourite things ever. But I fucking deal with it, to be honest. I don't know why it's. I don't know if it's the taste or something. I just cannot fathom why. To be fair, I'm more of a fish person than a meaty one, if I must admit. But yeah. For the tower, the shepherds. Kind of Wisdy already, but we're gonna have like a line coming down the middle here, which is then gonna like separate at a point here, go down, and then join back up. Except it's gonna be two separate lines. I don't know why. I think it just looks cool. And then basically have our villages inside the tower going all the way up. And these bits here are going to be our docking stations for our gaslings. And then just as before, this thing is basically going to fade. Fade out and down, a bit like the stilts on the thing over here. So, it's basically just a shepherd tower there. This ball thing doesn't really mean anything, just think it looks cool, sort of like mystical and wizardry and stuff like that. Shepherd, in terms of them, it doesn't really have to do anything to do with it. It kind of looks like the bottom of Shepherd's staff, maybe, or I guess they trade string and stuff. So we could have like lanterns and bits hanging off here. And maybe like cobwebs. Sort of like tattered around like a broken tower. But I want like bits of it's gonna be made out of bricks and sort of brownie stuff, but I want bits of like colour flowing through it. There we go. Right, and then we need to the butcher and also one more, which was the farmers, I believe. Well, there's 3 more after this as well, actually, isn't there? Oh yeah, we need to do the cleric still, which is kind of like potions and stuff. Butchers. Butchers. I guess we could do... a floating island with swords going through it. And then have like... I have an idea. Kind of a stupid one.
Find all of the songs of the summer in one place.
But to be fair, all of these ideas are quite big and stupid. I'm going to build a giant hand with swords going through it. And the village is going to be inside the swords. So if I actually just... How am I going to do this? I need to like... I'm actually using my own hand reference. I'll just show you real quick. So whenever it comes to drawing hands, I will always use my own hand as reference. And so all I'm doing here is basically just going like that, looking at it from like where my middle finger is. So we're looking down my hand instead of like across it, like it is there. And then basically using that to basically translate it onto the page. And yeah, whenever it comes to drawing hands, I always use my own body. I don't use references or images because I find it harder to draw from reference if I'm drawing a hand. But yeah, if I kind of like... basically all we're going to do after that is just go ahead and sword. Obviously not the best hand in the world. I'll redo a reference. I'm a bit out of practice with it, which is why I need to get back in with it, to be honest. But yeah, the swords are going to be like a landmark in Norway that I absolutely love the look of. But all we can do is basically put swords through the hand like that. And then within the swords, we're going to have our villages, which are going to be accessible from both sides. Now, the actual port for this thing, this hand, is basically going to sort of crumble the further it gets out that way. Obviously, there's going to be cracks and stuff in the hand itself, which is also going to have vines and bits and water sort of flowing down from here, sort of evaporating before it hits the ground, and bits like that. The actual landing points, I'm going to make little ports on the hands. There we go, and that is the book's just done. Basically, a giant hand with swords going through it, water flowing down off it, evaporating into the air, which I'm going to build out of glass instead of using actual water, because obviously water doesn't work like that in Minecraft. And then villagers going to be inside the sort of swords, maybe inside some of the fingers as well. And it's more of like a symbolic thing than like an actual blood and guts and gore and all of that, because I thought that'd be a bit horrible. So that's the butcher's done. We need to do the clerics, which is kind of like potion masters. And this one is a bit more clear. So obviously when you think of potions, you think of like witches or science or stuff like that. So how can we combine that together? We could do I guess potions. We could do, I don't know, like a bottle with wings that's being tipped out. Or maybe something a bit more cryptic or an arcane. We could do a skull. We could do a skull with wings and potions leaking out the eyes and stuff. So, like, big old sort of like stone skull, maybe with cybernetic enhancements attached to it, like cogs and bits. But yeah. Maybe like the jaw could be open slightly as well, like allowing the potion to leak out. So maybe like the potion's leaking out the mouth and stuff and out the eyes and all of that. But somehow it's staying afloat, possibly because of like jet thrusters and things like that. Or maybe there's like that ring blasters, something like that, and then maybe like cracking the skull at the top. You've actually got like steampunk engines like billowing out smoke and stuff, so maybe it's like been turned like a proper potions factory. This is essentially what the giant skull is going to be when it comes to my mega base. I'm going to build a giant builder with this skull, have a sword going through it instead of tech, and then have all the potions on the side. I guess this is just like a smaller version of it, but with like a more humanistic skull. I mean, we could add more like dragony bits to it, I guess, as well. Yeah, floating skull, potions leaking out, tech sort of keeping it afloat within sort of like artificial gravity thing. I think looks wicked. Yeah. Okay, so that's the cleric's done. I think it's just literally 1 or 2 more trays that we need to do. Oh, Virgin trays. Here we go. Just get that back up. So we've done the butch. So we've done farmers need doing. We've done butchers. We've done fishermen. We've done librarians, armourers, toolsmiths, shepherds, clerics, cartographers, weaponsmiths, and masons. So it's now just fletchers and farmers. Fletchers and farmers, they are difficult ones, I must admit. The farmers, I guess you can immediately assume some sort of floating, I guess, farmland or something like that. But I want it to kind of be, I don't know. How do I do this? A floating farmstead. Floating farmstead, or maybe it's like a single... I think we haven't gone too much with the islands as well. I maybe want to put an island back in this one, so farmers we'll put up here. So what could we do for the farmers? Farmers, we could do, I don't know, what would work for farmers? Like a floating island for farmers that's sort of mystical, mixed with technology, but still steampunk and blacksmithy. That has like a floating island. I mean, we could literally just do an island that is farming. Or we could do a windmill island. I have a windmill that I never built. Right, windmill island. And it could have like different layers as well, like with different sort of farm buildings. So we maybe have one there, and then like another little island off to the side somewhere, just up here, which could have like another little build off of it. And then, yeah, I think 2 would work. And then what we can do is have like a little sort of bridge, sort of staircase thing up to it, right? So then on this island here, what we'll do is we'll have the sort of main kind of central windmill barn thing, which is going to go like that. And then that's going to have like a roof on it as well. And then this even has like a little chimney sort of roof bit that we can steer out the top of here. I think there's all bits up the side, and it's got like fence bits in there and bits like that, which is wicked. And you've got a little door here, all sort of animal farm outside. And then over here you've got, I guess, a bit more of like a barn or something like that, which is where you could have more farmers, depending on like different trades that you're going to do. I might even build my barn from my survival world. So farmers, windmill and barn on an island. Nice and simple, nice and self-explanatory, I guess. And now it is literally just the, what was it? Something else, what was it? It was the Fletchers. So Fletchers are basically a bit like armourers. They sell arrows and bow and arrows. They sell stuff for archery. And when you think archery, you think targets and bows and all of that. But how would you do that skyward? I guess you could have... You could have like a statue of Artemis, maybe? The Greek god Artemis. We could build a statue of the Greek god Artemis and just have it be like where the villages be in the base of it, or like build a trade market around the base of Artemis. Again, nice and simple. Yeah, if we just put Fletchers. No, I'm not very good at building people, which is why I make this a bit more sort of wizardry stuff. Yes, hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Don't put the chicken in.
Okay, I haven't.
Turn the oven off.
Okay.
We'll have the chicken tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll get a curry or something this evening, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, darling. See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Wait, why is that? Just have like Artemis on an island or something like this, basically, or like Robin Hood or something like that. But yeah, we'll have like Artemis here. It'll be on an island, like that. Basically on a little mound somewhere like that. And then what we do is have like little market stalls with separate little islands surrounding the place. Sort of like selling goods and stuff. Yeah. The Market of Artemis. And I think that is actually pretty much every single villager trait. So I just want to do a quick check. Fucking hell, I just dropped my phone. Do you want a quick check? That is everything in terms of villager traits. So we have got I'm going to check some music on for this as well. Some different music. Because we're going to switch to cosplay in a minute as well. Now we've done this done. Now that we've got this done, we're going to switch to cosplay. And then what was that? Well, the gaming element of this, which is the final date, we're going to do later in the evening. Some will have to be silent, some will be able to talk. I might even get my brother on to play Battlefront and maybe a bit of Warframe, Assassin's Creed. It should be fun because there is multiplayer within some of those games, so it should be sick. But yeah, that is basically all the villagers stuff done and all the plans for the SMP. So I can't wait to get all of this stuff built in the SMP because this is going to be coming very soon. I had to kill all my villagers recently because it turns out I'd put them in the wrong territory. But I'm going to be moving them obviously into these places, breed them up, and actually building these places as I go as well. This is what's going to be keeping going because the thing is, with the guild SMP, you get to a point where you're like, oh, there's nothing else to do because I've done all I can for this guild. No, not for me. I've got all of this to build. I'll only be done once all of this is built. Functionality and Dizinical choice. Those are the two kind of things that are going with Scholars and even the Megabase. Once that's done, then we can leave it. But I'm not leaving it until we've done the Megabase and all of these things. It's going to be epic. Because like I said, we're going to be building this both on stream and over on YouTube, where I'm going to be making episodes for this guild, which is going to be fucking awesome. There is going to be a lot of death, probably quite a lot of falling from heights. I'm not particularly fond of ghast in the game right now, but maybe I'll grow to like them. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I just want to do a quick last check of everything. So we have got space, and actually we can flick back through the book with all of these because I want to add some whites to everything so we can actually add a bit of 3D effect. So first of all, we have got the cartography, and I was going with this one. We'll actually give it a big white tick. There we go. And all we're going to do is just add some underside kind of bits just there. Yes, that's right, we're using white for shadow instead of highlights. Seems a bit strange, but can be done. There we go, cool. Right, cartography, little ship, just here. We're going to make like an airship, sort of Japanese style thrown in there, a bit of Lego Ninjago thrown in there too, with machinery sort of surrounding and corrupting the balloon, the sails at the front pushing it forward, with like a steering platform that you can use your spy glasses on. We then next up got the library, which again I didn't realise at the time somewhat used as lesbian colours, which is fucking awesome. Is essentially going to be a tree with the dragons surrounding it, so either sleeping at the base or sort of going upwards, and that's how you either get in or get out. And it's essentially going to be this sort of weird cylinder perspective where you've got all these artifacts lining up the walls, and then you've got somewhat categorised villagers within the tree, which are the librarians with their highest level books, lowest amount of pay for the trades. So like looting and all like the hunters sort of stuff could go in one section. Then you could have farmers and gatherers, and then the rest of the things all chucked in together. Other ones out like, I don't know, like friggin' like Curse of Vanishing or Binding, they might all go in one thing with like Breach and all of that. But yeah, wicked. We've actually had some white here already, but I just kind of add, I guess, a bit more around the base, just here like that, just to fill in some areas. Tick of approval, wicked. Right, and then we finally move over to our page that we just cleared out for the rest of them. Turns out we didn't need one page per thing. We managed to fit them all on one page. So we got the Smiths over here, and it's going to be this giant sort of phoenix mixed with a dragon bird thing. And essentially all it's going to be is our place for all of our Smiths. Because there's not only a phoenix dragon, but it is also a biomechanical phoenix dragon using blacksmith and techno sort of steampunk technology to allow it to fly. Next up is our stonemasons, probably one of the prettiest places there's going to be. Sort of like the Cloud Kingdom from Ninjago, it is essentially going to be a bunch of floating stone pillars with villagers inside, clouds to hop on to get to each place here, there and where, and maybe some like mystical wisps underneath that are allowing it to like sort of float and push up. And then you've even got some little rocks and stones sort of floating in the air, maybe some candles to light up the way at night. Next up we've got the Shepherd's Tower over here, which is this weird sort of rickety old tower which has some sort of story and lore behind it, but it's kind of been lost to time. Has colour throwing through the cracks, representing all the colours and stuff you can make from the wool and everything as well. It's got this weird sort of bull orb, which maybe is some sort of mystical darkness or something like that. Or maybe it's a bell of some sort, but it's been done in a very sort of cryptic and ancient and arcane way. Then you've got, obviously, the leather workers with the islands just here. And essentially it's just a washing line that reaches across, sort of like a gondola. I'd like to get it to move in somewhere or another. The villagers are going to be hung inside of t-shirts and clothing and lanterns. And there's even going to be sort of like little crane sort of cockpits at each side, which you go into float the... basically to get across the washing line, pretty much. A bit like the things you do in high ropes or like on the playground, where you have like the two ropes, one up the top, one down the bottom. You have to sort of like sidestep across it. So you'd have like two ropes like that, and you'd have to like like go across it like that, if you get what I mean. So if I just draw it real quick up here, so you'd have like two ropes like that, and then you have like poles here, and what you basically have to do is just grab onto these bits and basically ever so carefully get your way across from one side to the other like that, but like steadily going across. That's essentially what the washing line's going to be with the leather workers down here. The fisherman hut is essentially going to be basically a fisherman hut, somewhat embracing more of the European, also mixing in a bit of Aztec and again Japanese style. I love the Japanese style of buildings. It looks fucking insane. And then basically instead of being on stilts in water, it's going to be on stilts as air in air. Which is more of like a mystical thing. May have like an engine underneath which is keeping it up, but the pillars are going to essentially sort of shrink into nothingness as they go downwards, as they sort of disapparate into the air, and so it's essentially just going to be a floating thing, but with some kind of, I don't know, physical looking support without any support underneath. It's a weird sort of parallel. But yeah, that's got a massive tick of approval as well. I haven't actually been given these tickets of approval yet. Let's do that real quick. And it's a tick of approval. Right, so the farmers, very simple. There's a windmill I built at some point. I never actually got to build on an SMP. I built half of it, never got to build the full of it, which we've been building for the farmers. And then off in the distance, we have a little barn, which I actually made a tutorial for ages ago, and I still use to this day. And it is probably one of the first times I ever used the technique of drawing and then building off of that drawing. Next up we have the Fletchers, basically a statue of Artemis with trade market sort of down the bottom with all the Fletchers in. The markets of Artemis, somewhat rhymes, simply rhyme, but yeah, wicked, love it. Tick of approval. We're going to try and build like a slightly more blocky Artemis as well, I think. We're also then going to have the Butchers, which is essentially going to be a hand with swords going through it, more of like a symbolic, metaphoric kind of thing. And then the villagers are going to be sat inside the swords. White tick of approval, yes please. And again, we're just going to use white for shadow on this real quick, just to emphasise some bits. There we go. Cool. And then finally, and definitely not least, last but definitely not least is what I meant to say, we've got the Clerics, a floating skull, which is being propelled by engine and motors of blacksmithy steampunk technology to keep it up in the air. A skull of maybe something ancient. Apparently it has horns. There's technology cracking through it. There's potions leaking out the eyes and the mouth where they possibly made too much, or it's just residue that's built up over the years, or like this gunk and stuff. We're probably going to build out like skulk and things. Gets a tick of approval. It's where our clerics are going to be sat. Our clerics are actually going to sit inside the teeth on the inside of this structure. Down the bottom there. Wicked. I love how that turned out. I think this thing looks fucking awesome. And like I said, I cannot wait to get all of these things built within the Guild SMP world. And speaking of which, if you haven't seen any of the Guild SMP stuff yet, then it is over on Twitch and somewhere over on YouTube, which is where I put all my VODs after they've essentially been... all my streams after they've essentially been up on Twitch for a week, because otherwise they get deleted and you'll never see them again. So yeah, I've been putting them up on YouTube for the past, 4 years. And there is some context on there for some other games and bits as well, like Warframe and Assassin's Creed and Minecraft, and even the cosplay we've been doing, which we're going to go ahead and switch over to now, which means I have to put my mask back on, because, yeah. Oh, fuck, my iPad's about to die as well, that's not good. Right, I'm going to set you guys down here for a second, and we're going to go to cosplay, and we're going to go ahead and continue with that. Basically, I just need to make one more spine, put it all together. I'm going to show you how it works, because I had a little bit of an error. I made something, and then it fell apart, which was really annoying, so I had to actually I had to fully remake a whole kind of section of the cosplay mechanical wings that I've been making, that kind of fan out and go up and out like a bird's wings, a bit like this, essentially, but you wear it as a backpack. Yeah, it fell apart on some bits, so I actually had to rework a lot of it, which I'm kind of annoyed about. But to be fair, it was worth it, and now it's come out in such an awesome way, and I'm so very happy with how it's very nearly done, because like I said, we've literally just got one more piece to fill in. I'm just going to move you guys down here a second. Now, I would have my lights on, my LEDs, but obviously it gets too dark in here, especially during this time of day, where the sun is starting to go down a bit as well. Obviously, I have to have the LEDs on, actually have them show their colour. I have to turn the lights off, which also makes it inherently more dark as well. So yeah, other than that, I will just be sat at the desk here, basically doing my arts and crafts. We're going to keep all this here as well because I want it out. Just give me a second here. Oh, right, got my mask. There we go. Turns out we're not having roast chicken, so yay! I think, yeah, that's significant to take away. I think we've got a Desh near us. Has anyone else got Desh? It's like curry and stuff like that. Really nice. I think my favourite curry has always been yellow curry or korma. Used to get it all the time. Used to be an Indian down the road. I know it was curry place down the road. Yeah, but they closed a couple of years ago. To be fair, I am now on a health kick a bit, and I feel fucking great, motherfucker. Now, for any of you here last time on the stream, I ended up finishing off this bit here. It wasn't fully stuck last time, but this thing is solid as fuck, and it's basically just a bitch of cardboard. A bitch of cardboard? But basically just a bunch of bits of cardboard stuck together. And as you can see over there, we're replicating that so that we can make the other side of it. Yeah, but this thing is like not flimsy at all. Well, it is a bit flimsy. It's quite rigid though. It is like rock solid. If I bash it against something, it doesn't. Perfect. I can actually show you the schematics for these wings if you haven't seen it before, because they're pretty cool. We're also going to get this coloured at some point, either via time-lapse or stream. It really depends when I have the free time, because I'm going to Scotland. I can say this now, and actually that's the thing, I'm going to Scotland within the first week of September, and basically leaving on the Wednesday, get back on the Thursday the week after. It's going to be epic. But obviously I won't be able to take any of this with me, it's going to stay here, just hope my mum doesn't throw it away, because she thinks it's trash, and has no real purpose, and it's no good for anything, because it's just a bunch of cardboard that I stuck together, except it's not, because I'm going to be using it at conventions, and I'm actually going to take a lot of the stuff I made for like this stuff. I'm going to take it, and but the full cosplay once I've done it, I'm going to render it in 3D. I'm going to take a picture of myself from front, both sides and back, and actually render it in 3D as well, which would be sick, because I can actually make like animations with me with it as well. So yeah, it'll be sick. Especially since it is technically based off one of my D&D personas, essentially. Give me a second, I'm just going to get some more cardboard and we get right on with this. Yeah! My PVA glue. I may also need to restructure some bits because they've gone a bit floppy. I mean, most of it's alright, but when you're building with cardboard, one incredibly important thing to remember is always have your lines, there's like ridges on cardboard, always have them facing downwards to avoid them bending. The problem with this is I built out cardboard boxes that already had folds in them, which you can see there and here. So some bits are automatically a bit flimsy, regardless of whether the way I've put the lines and the divots. So I'm actually going to add supports onto them now, so they don't flex as much when we're wearing this thing, which will be a problem, especially if it's windy, because it will literally just fucking flap about and fall apart. Oh, perfect. I just found support. Oh, speaking of which, I got a bunch of new cardboard, which we can use now as well, which is wicked, because I've been needing some cardboard recently for quite a bit, and I kind of resorted to basically just using all the offcuts to make structures, which obviously use up a lot more glue, which is how I made this thing. But it took ages to dry, and it's used up lots of cardboard. However, if I just have, for example, one long piece like this, which has come from a box, and I just kind of like structure it on the bendy bits like that, I can just make this thing in one, essentially. I just need to go test if this is thick enough. I think it's just about thick enough what we need. But we're just still on something. Shit. Luckily, this thing is just about big enough what we need, and all we do afterwards just add supports to it. Because otherwise it's just going to fucking flop about like fucking hell. What we're actually going to do is cut this thing out before we go ahead and apply supports, otherwise we're going through supports, it's basically just going to knock them off. What I need to do first then is lay this out on my bed, and I will flip the camera to you guys, because otherwise you won't be able to see anything. And I need to be careful not to draw on my bed, because then it will stain the fucking sheets. And all we're going to do is just draw the sort of structure that it needs to cut out of this thing in order to make the final spine for this wing. And if anyone doesn't know how bird wings work, I will go get a diagram real quick just to show you how this whole thing is going to work. They're really quite simple, but it looks incredibly complicated. Does that make sense? essentially, a bird's wings work as such. You have 2 points here and here, and a third which is not really a point, but more of like a pivot. This one attaches to the body, that one's more like an elbow, and then this one is basically what fans the thing out. Essentially, as this thing stays in place and a muscle gets pulled down through here, it lifts this up and pushes this up and out, resulting in this. To give you a bit more of an explanation, the essential schematics of how this thing works is like that. The top version is more like a birdie thing, but yeah. Basically, one of these just tubes, and obviously when you pull the string, it pushes this thing up and out like a bird's wing. But I try to make it as big as I can, and also not as heavy as possible, which is why we're using cardboard. Obviously, I've done the maths on it. I've mostly eyeballed the drawings, but in terms of how long the pieces are and how thick I've made the stuff, I've actually had to probably do some maths on it, because otherwise it just does not hold together at all. Like, I know how much weight it should have until it collapses, basically. But yeah, if I can do this. That's what you are. You can see the flag up there. Woo! I can go. Yeah, we got this on the bed. All I'm going to do basically is just take this pen. I'm going to draw the design across it. Draw the design across it, and then basically we're going to cut that out and get the supports stuck to these sort of more flimsy bits here, as well as the other bits over there. Yeah! Oh. I think it's 1, 2, and then 4, 1. Wow. I might actually just trace the other one that I have, because I don't want to fuck this up. Problem is, if you have the two holes on this thing too close together, it doesn't work. If you have it too far apart, it won't line up, it won't work. So, I'll make sure I do it properly. Yeah, it's literally just big enough to support this thing. Okay, cool. these is chassis bits. Luckily, I have. Yeah, there we go. Right, now let's do. Send you guys around because I'm going to start cutting this up. No. Stay on the desk, you fucking piece of shit. God damn it. Not the best working conditions, it's the best I've got right now. So yeah, gotta deal with it. Fucking it's fucking falling off the desk. Right, I'm actually going to close this book because I don't want to damage the drawings we've just done. Start here and then just, yeah. Yeah, like I said, for anyone who hasn't seen the previous cosplay streams, they're over on YouTube. Well, they should be now anyway. As VODs. I think there's one I did the other day that's still over on Twitch. Yeah, basically it's just been the progression of making this and actually trying out making torsion hands. If you don't know what torsion hands are, I don't think they're actually called that, but it's essentially mechanical hands that are longer than your fingers, and when you pull on a certain point, it pulls the rest of the fingers towards you because the torsion is destroying the rubber bands. I actually got them somewhere over in my room. I'll have to go get them at some point, but yeah. Can't fucking keep this in place. Let's cut this to the edge of there. Cool. Now, let's just start popping this out. Basically. As I said, because this is quite thin and flimsy, we've got to add support so it doesn't just flop around. there we go. That is all done. Wicked. Okay, as you can see, all cut out. Not the most stylish thing. Oh, what is that? Oh no. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, this is where this comes in, because all we're going to do is to make some supports. Probably make them from the bits we cut off, to be honest. The handy bit, all of this stuff can be reused, which is essentially what we're doing right now. So yeah, all these off cuts we can now use as structural supports. Now, the problem with these things, you have to make sure they're good dimensions. You want them thick, but not too thick, because otherwise they just do not stick. Also, dark side and light side sticking together. Don't stick two dark sides together. Does not work. Also, we want the shiny sides to rub against the other shiny sides. They come out more easily without less sound. Two rough sides don't stick together because the glue just gets absorbed and they just have no stick at all. Yeah, just gonna get on with this and hopefully it turns out well. So what we're going to do is first just go ahead and put some glue on there. And the best way to do this is actually just snake it across. So it spreads nice and evenly once it's down. Let's just put that on there. Push it down. And again, we just want to make the ridges going upwards instead of across. What I'm going to do is just put that on there. Or even, tell you what, I've got heavy things here that I can put on these. Put that on there like that. Let that stick for a second. This thing dries pretty fast as well, so hopefully within the time we've done these other ones, this should stick. Probably take it off the edge. Cool. Yeah, what we're doing right now is just making supports, and then like I said, we're going to put this all together and hopefully get it working. Or I might have to do that this evening on socials. It depends how fast the glue dries, basically.
That's because video is taking center stage on Spotify, with over 300,000 video shows and 300 million users already watching their favorite podcast. With seamless switching between watching and listening, you can tune in anytime, anywhere.
Depending on how fast all of this dries, we can either put it all together on stream now, or I have to put it together on socials before I go away at some point, and then paint it, get it painted on Monday and Tuesday before the Wednesday I leave, because I'd like to have these done before we go away, so that when we come back they're just sitting there waiting for us. We can try them on. It's going to be epic. Right, let's just start. No. Yeah, so what we're even going to do at some point is just leave this somewhere nice and cold nice and cold to actually dry in. Because what I've noticed with other ones, I've just put that right in front of the camera. What I've noticed is with other ones I've just left to basically dry, is that they will essentially, they'll like harden properly into place. Which is really nice to see. So yeah, hopefully it happens with this lot as well. I can actually show you real quick. I don't know if I have enough the space in here. I might do it on my bed. Give me a second. I'm just going to put everything in place so you guys can see how this thing's going to work. Give me a second while just leave the camera there for a second. Actually, do my Masakitty Moo. Masakitty Moo. Masakitty Moo. gonna let these bits dry as before. What I'm gonna do is move everything off my bed, and I'm gonna try and put everything together so I can show you how this thing actually works. Pressure. Go back. Give me a second here. This back around. Sorry, the lighting's so shit. I can move everything out of the way.
miss you. Sorry, no trainers. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Fees apply to delivery, subject to availability.
There's more to Spotify.
Right, I think I got it figured out. I think some pieces are in the wrong place. Because there's 2 triple hole ones. But I think that's it. Let's put this real quick. Basically, it's how they work. So, pull that one. This sits in place because that acts as a pivot. Pull this one. That goes up. As that goes up, that creates a pivot there. Obviously stays in place. That stays in place. Pushes this thing up, which obviously pushes that out and this out as well. And as that pushes out, that drags this bit downwards, pushing that out, which pushes that out and up as well. Basically like a bird's wing, and this stays in place because of this bit. If you want a reference real quick as well, if I put this on the... Over here, is that going to work? Or, so my forearm, my arm is about as long as this piece here. So it's not that big, but it's big enough that it's going to create like an effect, essentially. Yeah. Hopefully, anyway. I think this thicker piece here and that piece, I think this longer piece here is meant to be down there, and the thicker piece is meant to be up here. We'll have to look at the original stream that I did when I put the thing together to get a better idea, but yeah, it's looking wicked. Hopefully this thing works. Just need to attach string to there and basically, yeah, pull that goes up, pushing that out, which pulls this thing down, which allows this thing to go out, and then the whole sort of wing, it just expands out that way. Like, imagine like your hand expanding like that. It essentially just does that, pretty much. So yeah, we're good. And basically we duped pretty much every single piece except this one here and this long one here. So we just need to, the one we're doing right now is this shorter sort of spinal piece, and then we just need to do that one afterwards. And then a lot of these pieces, including the stuff over here, also needs supports as well, like this one has all down the middle. So yeah, wicked. Yeah, the room is a bit of a mess right now, I must admit. Mainly because of this. And all the other stuff over there. And that, and now this as well. But yeah, working with a small space with a person who's 6'5". Oh, it's not going to go well, is it? But, like I said, it's going to work through it. Positive thinking, all of that and stuff. Also, Toothless Dragon and Big Dragon. I'm going to forget where I point because obviously the camera's flipped. So, Toothless Dragon and Dragon Portrait by Reno Blue. Ooh, got that from TwitchCon. Oh, desk above. Whoa. I can actually set up my... I don't know, I haven't done that. I can set up a tripod just here. Or even... Problem is, I think it's going to run out of charge, that's why I haven't done it. Would that sit there without... Oh, it does. Huh. I don't know, I've never put that there before. Unless it just magically falls. Now! No, okay, never mind. Okay. I should close my door as well. Huh. Yeah, that just... You could also just put this round here like this. So if I just move this a bit. That all good? Oh, wicked. And now you guys can see me over here. I basically lent you guys on a bin against a wall on top of a very unstable wooden board. But it works, so why the hell not? Hopefully the audio's okay. Now Never had this like view of my room before, especially from at that point there. Kind of looks cool. I might put you guys there for like future cosplay stuff, because obviously you can see everything now as well. Just waiting for stuff to dry. Might as well check Discord while I wait. Cool. I'm doing good. Just checking all my messages. Waiting for the stuff to dry.
Spotify Premium lets you take more control of the party, from ad-free listening to offline downloads.
Good job. Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Hey, if you're watching this, that means you're probably into femboys. Good job. Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Proud of you. Good job. Hey, if you're watching this, that means you're probably into femboys.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of free child place holidays available, with 22 kilograms of baggage included. But now, with Jet2 holidays, package holidays you can trust, and International protected.
I decided to put my whole heart into building this family through TikTok Live and using the strength to... first emoji is what.
Cheese, 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 cheese.
Personal DJ
Cheese.
set. Tune into 3
Spread
free
it
months
on
now
the bread.
and cancel anytime. Tap
Cheese,
the button to learn
cheese,
more.
cheese butter on the bread.
There's more to Spotify than meets the ear. That's because video is taking center stage on Spotify. With over 300,000 video shows and 300 million users already watching their favorite podcast.
The James Ray Cheese song, if you were wondering. Here we go. Now that is pretty much solid. Fuck. Just to be clear, don't eat glue. I didn't actually eat it. Just I wiped it somewhere. Look. White stuff. Maybe it's not glue. Do you imagine PVA glue is just... You know, I'm going to leave it there. PVA glue is actually just... From a conversation playing hard to get, but I can understand. And I look at you, see the story in your eyes. When you're dancing all night against the night begins to shine, when the night begins to shine, the light begins to shine, when you're dancing, when the night begins to shine, dusk to dawn, my heart is racing through you. Oh, in the pouring rain, got my mind made up. I wanna feel you. When I look at you, see the story in your eyes. When you're dancing, oh, night begins to shine. The night begins to shine, the night begins to shine. The night begins to shine when you're dancing. Oh, the night begins to shine. When sorrow's above the noise and confusion, this village is a place of illusion. Oh, we are soaring ever higher. Hey, but we feel too high. Carry on my way with sorrow. Weary to live, don't you cry no more. There's a small town girl living in a lonely world. You catch the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in the Southern Roy. You catch the midnight train going anywhere. Strange light marching on, and it's holding heart in the night. You'll be the one to save me. 'Cause after all, you're my wonderwall. Shit, fucking just knocked everything. There we go. Okay, let's do it for extension. Oh. There we go. Supports are in place. And this thing is no longer flimsy as shit. That it can withstand a full pivot. Perfect. It still needs a bit of drying, obviously, because there's white stuff leaking out. Sorry, I just had a really, You know, I'm going to leave that thought there. Yeah, it's not flimsy anymore. It should work fine. We're still going to leave that to dry a bit though, because like I said, once it like properly cools down, the glue will like properly harden and it will dry properly, which isn't like really good because it makes it really, really sturdy. So there's one more thing we just need to dupe real quick, and then we're going to get on to making supports for the rest of the stuff. Which is this one. And for this, I need my bag, because I have a bag of cardboard over the other side, which I'm going to go get. Right, I'm going to have to do this in my bed again because there's not enough space over there. The peel up round work. Oh wait, it was right around already. You'll see that right? Yeah, see that, cool. So basically, you've just got to dupe this onto one of these real quick. There we go. They fold up really nicely as well. Just handy for storage. That's good. All we have to do is just trace it on here. was easy. Thumbs up. Let's get this out once again. I'm actually going to cut it out over here because get more space on it. Sit here with you guys. I need more space for this one anyway because it's much larger. Where do my scissors go? Give me the skizzers! Okay. Ta-da! Perfect. Right, let's need glues now. Oh, 3. Done. Okay, cool. Ooh. This is going to repeat that all the way down here so it doesn't flop. Looking good so far, I'm drawing quickly. We're good. Right, almost done. So that is literally just the other piece that we need, and we're pretty much done with that. What we do is basically take all these pieces and just put them together, which is the final stage of this before colouring, I guess. What we're going to do is put this together, not fully stick it, colour it, and then put it together again. One mistake I made with the mask when I went before was colouring afterwards, which was a massive challenge because it kept kind of pushing in on itself, and yeah. So I'd rather have the pieces all set and ready to go, and then colour it before I put it together. The difference is with the mask was the fact that I hadn't pre-planned, like, I hadn't got the bits cut out. I was just going along and making it as I went. Rather with this, I've actually planned out like what's going to happen. It's obviously it's a more mechanical machine type thing, and so I've got these moving parts that are separate we can put together. Whereas the mask was just like a solid piece. I do plan to remake it as well at some point too, which I'm really excited about because obviously new edition of the mask is going to look fucking amazing. It's actually going to have like moving mechanical parts, like you pull this bit down, the horns go up. You'll be able to take it off basically like an Iron Man helmet, but with like manual movement stuffs. It's be awesome. Can the future just wait? Fashionably like your realize. Still. Time pass through. Can the future just wait? Right, what we're going to do is let this thing dry for a bit, and then what we're going to let this thing dry for a bit, and then what we're going to do is basically just we're going to let this thing dry, and then basically put it to the side, put the first wing we have together to show you how it works, probably got through there because I've got to go do deliveries, and then obviously, like I said, we'll be back this evening to do gaming stuff as well. So fret not, I will be back for like 3 hours this evening to do a couple of different games. Maybe even be able to get my brother on Battlefront to play a couple of split screen matches, which would be awesome. So yeah, cool. Sorry, it's been a bland. I think I've wasted all my like energy and creative potential in the first couple of minutes with the religious drawings. Which again, I also can't wait. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for everybody who's been very supportive and appreciative this whole month, and everybody that's hopped in. It's been wonderful having you guys on. Even the people who just watched the stuff as well, it's amazing. And obviously, I should just say as well, I released an episode recently on YouTube, and it hasn't done as well as previous ones because obviously it has been 5 months. But I also just want to say a massive thanks to all of you over there as well. And speaking of which, what was I going to say? Speaking of which, yes, YouTube's where I put up all the VODs from like previous Switch. This is where I've been putting it up for Shunthon. What I plan to do is do all the thumbnails in one go, and then chuck it on a playlist. So if you want to watch all of the, except like the 24 hours and the one Wednesday we can do it, all of the VODs from this month are currently up over on YouTube, except this one obviously it's the last day. But yeah, I'm going to chuck them on a playlist, and it's going to stay there forever. Yeah. Oh shit. Just dropped my phone again, for fuck's sake. Really dry. Just a couple of seconds. That done yet? That's done. Yeah, cool. There we go. Look, nice and rigid. Perfect. Yay. Right, we're going to put this thing together. I'm just going to show you how it works. And yeah, I'm going to put probably on screen now. Let the rest of that dry properly. Like get nice and cold and harden. And get nice and hard. Oop. Let's put this stuff away and we'll, yeah, cool. I've lost all my energy. I don't know why. Glue on my hand actually. I'm just gonna pick this off. Did anybody else used to do that? Like get PVA glue on your hand and just like peel it off? It's a really weird feeling, but it's satisfying for some reason. Good for skin peeling special effects like horror movies, I'm guessing. Definitely feels weird, but it is very satisfying to look at. I don't know if that goes back. Right, I just need to get some skewers and we can get this thing sorted. Yeah. Oh, this one. Give me a second. I'll be back in a minute. Yep, and then just turn these off. Here we go.
Monetize your passion.
We even have 3 hours. Damn! I didn't notice. 3 hours. Fucking hell! I didn't know it's been that long. Jesus. Okay. So we're literally going to end it in a minute. I just need to put this together. I'll show you. I'll actually flip you guys.
music flowing. Download your favorite tracks and listen to them ad-free with Spotify Premium. Hit play on 3 free months now and cancel anytime. Tap the banner to learn more.
Fucking remember how to put this thing together. Right, we definitely had some hiccups. We finally got there. Yeah, I think I put the wrong bits on the wrong bits, but I think I need to look at the original stream where I put this thing together. For some reason, that bit now doesn't match up with any of the rest of the stuff, which is completely fucked, because what the fuck? I put this thing together before and it worked out fine. Now I put it together and it doesn't fit together. What? Which means I obviously put something wrong somewhere, but essentially, yeah. This works exactly how I explained it. If I pull this down, this whole thing just, as you can see, starts to expand outwards. So if we did something more of like a slippery floor, I guess. But yeah, as you can see, it just pulls the rest of the wing up and outwards. So sick. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like I said, I will see you all later. Thanks for coming along for the cosplay stream, I guess. Wonderful. I will be back later to play a bit of Battlefront, a bit of Assassin's Creed, bit of Minecraft, bit of what's the other one? Warframe. Basically in another 3 hours, last 3 hours of the day probably, so from 9 till midnight. 9 till midnight we're playing some games. Come join if you wanna. But yeah, for now, for IRL stuff, starting off because we got the cosplay wings done. Let's fucking go! I can't wait to get things coloured because I will be colouring them as soon as I get back, or maybe on the Monday or Tuesday that are coming up, or as soon as I get home from Scotland because I need them ready for October because it's when Comic Con is. Also, I'll be making the mask probably in the next couple of days too, so it might be cosplay. We might be streaming that or time lapsing it. I don't really know. But have a wonderful morning, evening, night, day, afternoon, wherever you lot are in the world. It's been wonderful having you here. Again, once again, thank you for such a wonderful month and all the appreciation and support. It's been wonderful from you lot. I hope you all have a good one. And for now, goodbye. Oh, also, YouTube and social things over here. And also Discord things over here as well, so you can check it out and feel free. Bye! Here's sort of stream. God damn it.